Everyone, it's Heidi with Downtown NorCal Live. Today I'm going to be introducing you to the owner of Balance Point Pilates Studio in Davis. This is Sevki Leno.
Hi there.
So
Hi, thanks for having me.
You bet. Can you walk us through what your business is? You're right there. So
Yeah. So we are a Pilates studio. We have our 5 reformers in the back behind us that are now spaced 6 feet apart. We also have space for privates in another little room in the back here. There's a space for privates. And we focus on strictly Pilates. When we were open pre-quarantine, we offered some mat and bar classes as well. But as we reopen, we are going to be only offering the equipment classes and privates.
Okay. And so you are not open, even though you're allowed to be. A lot of gyms did open today, fitness studios and so forth, but you are delaying until the 22nd. How did you make that decision?
Based on the fact that I really wanted to communicate clearly to our clients, not only the CDC protocols and the new kind of schedule and everything, but give them time to make the decision if they were ready to come back. I didn't want to just flip the switch and be like, okay, we're open. There's so much that goes into it. And I wanted to make sure not only were we prepared as a studio, but that clients were prepared as well to come back and be ready to work.
And then how are you feeling about that? Do you feel ready to go?
I do. You know, like everybody, this whole time, it's been a roller coaster of emotions. Every day is a little different. Every hour is a little bit different. I have missed working a lot, and I'm very excited to get back in the studio and work with people. But I would be lying if I said there wasn't any apprehension. You know, we're still living in a COVID world. And so there is some apprehension moving forward, but I'm confident that we can do so safely. And we'll just take those baby steps.
Yeah. How hard has it been to be separated from your clients that you're used to seeing on a regular basis?
Really hard. What is so unique about our studio, I believe, is the community that we've built over the years. And so we're not just coming in for the workout, instructor and clients alike. We're coming in for that community. So friendships are made, lives are intertwined. And so without that weekly, sometimes twice a week connection with clients, it's been really hard. So I'm very excited to get back to those who are ready to come back. Seeing those smiling faces and hearing how everyone's been just kind of will brighten up my week for sure.
And I'm sure that your clients will have a really heartwarming feeling when they get to see you.
I hope so. You know, we pride ourselves on being a family and a close-knit one at that. So it was weird not to see some of these faces for as long as we did. So I hope that when everyone returns, we get that same kind of coziness like you're talking about that we had before we left.
So speaking of coziness, you mentioned those reformers are 6 feet apart, and I can't think of a more predictable way to maintain distance than being on a reformer.
Right, it's true. They're spaced apart. You're on it for the duration of the class. You're not going anywhere, so you can maintain that 6 feet, which is great. And in fact, going through the fitness studio guidelines that CDC recommends, we were already doing all of it. The only one that we weren't would be the 6 feet. You know, we had these 2 reformers in the back pushed back a little bit more, so it wasn't quite spaced like it is currently. But other than that, you know, it's a one-use piece of equipment. Clients would clean after every session. So we had a lot of that stuff in place already, which was fabulous.
So what I know about Pilates is that it can often be very hands-on, and you're needing to shift that practice. How do you feel about that?
It's going to be different. So, you know, we cue verbally, we cue tactilely with our hands, we cue visually where we would be showing an exercise. So we have to now, for the most part, eliminate 2 of those and go strictly to that verbal cueing. Not to mention we'll be verbally cueing with our face coverings. So there's some of that, you know, hopefully I can project well enough. Hopefully, you know, sometimes they're going to be looking at my facial expressions maybe, and they're not going to be able to see all of those. So there'll be a learning curve. But with us being gone for as long as we did, the first month minimum, we'll be definitely focusing on our fundamental skills. And so the clients who have been coming for a long time have those building blocks already. And the hope is that as we work through the weeks through those fundamentals, that my cueing will become more articulate, they'll understand, they can get moving quicker, the transitions will be more seamless between exercises as they start to refresh their memory and get refamiliarized with the repertoire.
Before we went on to record, you and I were talking about my relating the back to basics notion with my dance practice, and we were talking about how this can be an opportunity going back to basics.
Yeah, it is. And what we would do, or at least myself, I would probably at least once a month, one of our classes would be I wouldn't call it that online, but I would tell the clients when they came in, okay, we're going back to our fundamentals. Here's the time for you to really think about the alignment. Here's the time for you to really think about what is your body feeling right now? What's your breath like? What's your spine doing right now? What's your pelvis doing right now? So it'll be a great way for them to reconnect, the hope is. When you're going back to fundamentals, often people think that means easy, but it isn't. In fact, I feel like sometimes I work out harder in those sessions because I'm so in tune with what my body is doing that I can feel it in a much different way than if I was just kind of going through the motions in a more difficult class. So I think there's going to be a huge benefit to that, and it'll be kind of a great place to start fresh with everybody.
Yeah. I mean, certainly the virus has made us do that in all parts of our life, going back to basics, and there is something to be said about that value. So I wanted to just close with a question that I haven't asked other business owners when I've been live with them, and that is, why are you a small business owner?
Great question. So those who know me know that when I took over the business, it was kind of out of character for me. I used to be a school teacher, and then I would teach Pilates after I taught school. So I was doing two things at once. And then I've been teaching for Balance Point for about 15 years or so. My passion has always been Pilates, always, always. It just wasn't, I wasn't meant to open a studio beforehand. It just wasn't, the stars didn't align quite yet. And when the previous owner was going to retire, it just felt like it was time. And so again, going back to that community piece of it, this was a community that was built that I love. And it was providing a space for people a safe space for people to not only build strength physically, but mentally, emotionally. And all of those things are what I'm passionate about. And so it just made sense when the previous owner left for me to kind of just move in and then continue to build this community. And, you hear it all the time. When you find something you love doing, it doesn't feel like work. And that's just this. So we talked about this a little bit off camera too, that I don't really think of myself as a business owner. I kind of more think of myself as a Balance Point studio space facilitator. So I have this space for people to come, and I'm there to help guide them through their journey. But it's not me by myself as a business. It's us as a community together.
It's a really wonderful message to your clients and to the community at large. So I've been talking with Sevgi Leno. She's the owner of Balance Point Pilates Studio in Davis. Sevgi, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Heidi.
And we'll see you all tomorrow.